Welcome back to Sims Complete. Phil Sims, Matt Sims, talking football. Week 1 in the books, man. It was a hell of a first week, I can't lie. A lot of good football games, a lot of ugly football games too, but I'm just glad that football is back and we can get away from Phil Sims predicting what the season will be like from his preseason evaluations, which, of course, we always get too deep into the weeds of that. But
no. We were good this past year.
Yeah, we did a little better. We
much better. And I'll tell you, you are having some hair day there, big guy. What the hell did you do?
I'm peacocking today.
You're peacocking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good. Yeah, it was interesting. There was some really good football, a lot of ugly football, what you expect.
Yeah.
One, first game of the year, getting back into the flow of it. And, two, it was talked about quite a bit, I think, over the weekend. Not many star players played in preseason at all.
Yeah.
And some of those star players showed a lot of rust, and we'll see what happens in week 2. But let's get right to it real quick, and let's give some opinions on what we thought.
Yeah. So to go into some of the star players that maybe had a little bit of a slow start, we're going to go into the quarterbacks that were coming off of injury or just have high expectations. And the first one that we'll start with, we'll go with Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets, who finished off the week against the San Francisco 49ers. And that was a tough game. There was moments early on where you're like, wow, this is exciting. Of course, every Jets fan just like, give me 5 plays instead of 4. You got it. He survived the game. He finished the game healthy. We saw some glimpses of the Jets looking good, efficient on offense early on, and then everything seemed to flatline. Aaron Rodgers finished 13 of 21, 167, a touchdown and an interception. Big Phil, what were some of your thoughts just from watching Aaron Rodgers' second debut, if that makes sense, with the Jets?
Well, when they scored to make the score, it was 7-3, and I was like, "Oh man, this is going to be a great game."
Yeah,
and I couldn't wait to watch it. And then the Jets' defensive line got overpowered by San Francisco, and I thought, as I said this earlier in the week, Mason, the running back for the 49ers, I said, "Man, he looks like Earl Campbell out there," and he was just trudging, breaking tackles, making the right read, the right cut, all that stuff that Kyle Shanahan talks about. But overall, for the Jets, I'll say this: struggled against the size of the San Francisco 49ers. That alarmed me a little bit. Yeah. And I thought, I know Aaron Rodgers coming back from the Achilles. I understand all that, but I thought it was a way too careful. And, I wanted to see more. Open it up just a little more and let Aaron Rodgers really get into the game. We'll talk about it later. Let me just say this.
Is that possible though? Because we had this discussion privately. Aaron, what we saw this last weekend is what we saw at the end of his tenure with the Packers. And that was simple offense, just great throwing. Most of the throws are contested because I feel like the offense really isn't schemed up in a way to get people open consistently. It's more about just making sure that Aaron's comfortable and knows where to go with the football.
Listen, when I say let him throw more and all that, it can be, just get the ball, catch it, get rid of it, and work that way, and then occasionally take the shot down the field. Right. And I think, when you don't do it enough, and when it's run, we got it in 3rd and 5, this is good. Well, you know how it is. You're not going to hit every 3rd and 5 in the NFL. Yeah. So I just wanted to see that. As I watch many games, and we'll get into it, I'll just real quick, the Miami Dolphins, oh my gosh. It's screen. Oh, I mean, I counted at least 10 screens they threw against Jacksonville. So when I see that, I say, why can't the Jets just do a lot of that and then take the occasional shot down the field when you think it's there? So I think I need to see more of that. I don't look at them as a team they can line up and just overpower the defense with the run game. And yes, I know the injury, Aaron Rodgers coming back. Right. I will say this, the arm doesn't look healthy. It looks really good. I mean, man, the ball came out of his hand like a rocket. He's just got to settle in a little more, I think, and get himself in better position to throw these passes, some of the passes, and be more accurate with them too.
Yeah, some of them you could see that he felt really confident. The one over the middle of Garrett Wilson early on that scoring drive, after he threw it, the camera zooms in on him, and you could see that he was excited. He was pumped up. I'm sure that was really the first real rep that he's really ripped in, in live action. So he felt great off of those. Again, to expect them to do more of those screens and things like that, I just don't know if that's necessarily
who they are.
what
or what they
Aaron
teach.
and what he's done, in his career, and that's what's interesting. That scoring drive, they had those little swing passes, which were kind of screens to Breece Hall, which I think
Okay.
really helped alleviate some of that pressure that they were feeling from the San Francisco defense. But after that drive, we didn't really see any of those concepts again for the rest of the game. So I'm not sure, if that's a scheme thing as what Aaron feels comfortable with. If Nate Hackett and them just kind of got overwhelmed as the game went on and they just, kept it simple. But, I'm with you. They need to be a little bit more aggressive with certain game plan plays, especially with just scheming up ways to get Garrett Wilson the football more. A lot of his catches, I mean, people were all over him. And I'm
Right.
sure with Aaron, just, hey, he got back in there. He's going to feel more comfortable. Hopefully he can build into this rhythm now and kind of stand in the pocket a little bit stronger, more confidently. Now that he's taken a few hits, he scrambled out of the pocket a few times. But those days of him scrambling and making plays out of the pocket and using his feet, like, yeah, they might be coming to an end. He'll be moving to throw, not necessarily to scramble and make some of the highlight plays when he was an MVP quarterback, but he could be a different form of MVP quarterback this year for the Jets.
I think he'll play different this week against Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
In other words, move around a little more, trust himself. And listen, it doesn't even have to be in who you are or whatever. If you can't look at all these films and see quarterbacks and what you want to do with Aaron Rodgers, if you can't throw some swing passes more to Breece Hall, then I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. Every offense in Little League all the way through the pros has that in their offense, and you can use it. And again, I'm saying do it for many reasons. Get them outside, all that, to spread the field a little bit, but to help the quarterback.
Yeah.
And so we'll see. His throwing motion was really interesting too. He threw all of his passes. I understand a lot of quarterbacks throw off their back foot. Aaron Rodgers threw about every pass off his front foot.
Yeah.
Which, if you've ever tried it, if you're a quarterback out there, it's really hard to do. I mean, I think it's really hard. Yeah. And I was imitating it to you yesterday a little bit. And hell, when I did it, I almost fell in the kitchen trying to do it. So, just another thing I think we'll see a difference in. What about the game? Do you want to talk about Tennessee and the Jet game real quick?
Yeah, let's go right into it. So I think just for the Jets, unfortunately, yeah, this is another really tough opponent that I think matches up with them extremely well in a lot of aspects. And, strong in the secondary, strong in the defensive front. And for the Jets, yeah, how are you going to combat that? Because I know one thing we discussed how a lot of people have discussed how Caleb Williams struggled against this Tennessee Titans defense. He missed one or two throws, and of course, we overreact. But the real story is that I think that the Tennessee Titans defense is big, strong, physical, and they can move. They can play fast. So for the Jets, tough way to start the season. They're at Tennessee. And for them, are they going to establish the run game and be more patient to wear down the front that way to then build off of the passing game in that way with the play action pass and all that kind of stuff? Or are they going to do what you said? They're going to spread it out more. They're going to do more screens. They're going to do more quick hitters and try to alleviate the pressure of Tennessee's physicality by playing quick and maybe a little bit faster and up tempo.
Well, I'll say it all pretty quick here. One, everybody up here in New York thinks, well, this is a chalk it up. They could be 4-1. This is a victory. We knew San Francisco be, and I just go, wait, let me alarm you a little bit here. This is a big physical team who lost the game where they basically dominated the pace of play, the game, the score, everything. And Will Levis played a solid game until the old flip, the option flip forward, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. That was disastrous. But they are big. Jeffrey Simmons inside. They got Harold Landry. You talked about L'Jarius Sneed. Hey, man, he still got it. He can still cover. And
Andre Sweat. I mean, how impressive was he? I mean, talk about Brian Baldinger. He calls him T-Pain because he brings the pain every play. And I love that. I was like, it's so true because the dude is just throwing bodies around.
He's a rookie. And I mean, I think what's his weight? 360?
He's a big human being.
But he moves. He definitely moves better. And like you said, he is a factor. So to think the Jets are going to go down and run against this fired up team because the way they lost, the fans, the first home game, all that. This is one, if the Jets win, you go, Great. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. So it's good. I'm interested in watching this game. Of course I will. And there's a lot there, but I think you said it right. Tire them out a little bit with a lot of swing passes, screens, whatever it is to get your quarterback, in rhythm of the game. But more importantly, to try to slow that defense down and get them tired because they are big. And that's what you do against big football teams like that on defense.
Yeah, both teams are going to be desperate for a win. Both teams lost in different fashions. The Titans really dominated, should have won that football game. The Jets got dominated the entire football game and lost that football game. So,
Right.
for Tennessee and just for fans at home, just Tennessee, I think will be very patient trying to run the football again. If there's one thing we know about Callahan Auto is that they are very good at running the football. And they know how to scheme it up and how to block it up and do those things. We liked how their offensive line has looked this season and even what we saw for a few snaps in the preseason with the starting group. And I would expect the Titans to try to implement some form of that running attack that Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers exposed this Jets defense. Because the one weakness I see for the Jets defense, even though they're athletic, they're fast, they got talent on every level, they lack just overall size in the interior part of the defensive line. And I think that will be a concern for them, not only earlier in the year, but really throughout the season when teams just try to play man for man and push them around.
Hey, look, the run game, we know they're going to try that after watching San Francisco.
Yeah.
And the other thing is Brian Callahan, he knows what to do in the short passing game, whatever it is. He is a big screen, got everything where he's got all the quarterback helpers in there.
He does.
The plays to help him out. So it's going to be an interesting game to watch. Really can't wait to see it on Sunday. So we'll see.
All right. So now let's go to Kirk Cousins real quick.
Yeah.
First start off the Achilles as well, just like Aaron Rodgers. And like Aaron, Kirk had to go against the Pittsburgh Steelers, another ferocious defense that's really dominated by the defensive line. TJ Watt, excuse me. Oh man, that was terrible. TJ Watt was just absolutely everywhere. And again, Mike Tomlin making the game ugly as hell. Doesn't matter that we need to rely on 5 field goals to win the football game because we're just going to muddy it up, as you would say, and win ugly football games. And that's what the Steelers did. But what were some of your thoughts on Kirk Cousins' performance and how he looked against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense?
Really easy when he had protection, felt comfortable, could just sit there and had just enough time to make the right decision and get his body in position. I thought he threw the football really well. But there were many opportunities, or many plays, I should say, where you could feel the pressure coming. And, it just kept
a lot of collapsed pockets. Yeah.
Collapsed pockets. And he was caught. He didn't know whether to move to get rid of the ball. And he did get rid of the ball quick. And it led to some bad plays for him.
Right.
So it was really, as I watched it, he was another quarterback, just like you want to say about Aaron Rodgers, is that the movement was not there.
Yeah.
And it seemed to make him hesitate too at times. So it was not a good game. But again, now he kind of tested where he can go physically. So it'll be interesting to see what he looks like this week with a little movement, throwing the football, and maybe being more comfortable in the pocket. And it goes back to this. Think about it. Injury. I know he's a veteran, all that. Okay. But no action in preseason games.
Right.
So, man, to go out there game day against the Steelers and their defense and the way they play the game, they sucked the life out of it. Mike Tomlin was nothing but he had the biggest smile on his face when the game is over because this is how I want to play.
Yeah.
And you and I talked about that the Steelers, it's an ugly preseason the way they played it, but we were not seeing their defense on the field.
Right.
And when the defense came on the field, it justifies even more what they want to do on the offensive side because that defense is real. And you said it, TJ Watt, I'm telling you, he looks better than ever out there. So
he did. He looked really fresh. And Kirk Cousins finished the game 16 of 26, 155, a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Those 2 interceptions, like you mentioned, were really collapsed pocket, wasn't really sure what to do. And just kind of panicked and threw it and tried to get rid of the football. And honestly, to be expected, again, from a player that has missed a lot of time through injury like Aaron Rodgers. And he doesn't have much of a grace period either now going against the Philadelphia Eagles on Monday Night Football this week. So the Falcons they also have their hands full with another tough opponent that, I don't know if you saw Jalen Carter's film against the Green Bay Packers, but, we talk about Devondre Sweat and what he can do. Jalen Carter, I mean, he is just like a WWE superstar out there. He is just power bombing grown men. Like, it's just ridiculous. It really is. It's crazy how powerful and strong and how quick he is. So another disruptive defense that the Falcons will have to manage and make sure they help their quarterback out. All right, so now let's go to Joe Burrow, Joe Burrow, and the Cincinnati Bengals. 21 of 29, 164, no touchdowns, no interceptions. They did have the one fumble as he hit the tight end over the middle that was stripped right there at the goal line. But Joe Burrow and the Bengals really coming out flat in week one.
Is not a surprise they struggled a little bit because New England's defense is going to be good all year long.
Yeah.
They're well coached, of course. They were good last year most of the time. So that has to stop. They're building their season around New England. They're the Pittsburgh Steelers right now.
Yeah. Right.
We're going to play defense, and we are going to be so careful on offense, and just let's don't turn it over. And for some teams, I like that statement. I kind of get sick of hearing it about, they turned the ball over once. Well, when you're talking about especially Pittsburgh and not Tennessee, I don't quite put into that, but these teams that's how they're going to play the game because that's how they're built. New England's that team, and Joe Burrow struggled, which I'm not shocked. My gosh, it wasn't there because we saw this all last year with New England. All good quarterbacks kind of had trouble with their defense.
Right.
And so that's not – everything was not unexpected. I shouldn't say that. The fact that Cincinnati lost at home.
Right.
Yes, I knew the game could be ugly, low scoring, but I never even thought about the fact that New England was going to win it. I'll put it that way.
Right. And really for a, Lou Anarumo defense to be just kind of pushed around physically in the run game the way that they did. Yeah. I mean, him personally. I'm sure that he is fired up at work this week, considering what just happened to his defense in week one, and will definitely be a point of emphasis. Because let's discuss next week's game, this upcoming game for the Bengals, and that's the Kansas City Chiefs. Excuse me. So Bengals Chiefs this weekend. It's going to be a great matchup. It's always fun when we see Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes matched up with each other. I saw a funny stat too that Joe Burrow's got a great winning record against like Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, but he's got a losing record to Jacoby Brissett and somebody else, very, very random. So, people are really enjoying the fact that, he can beat the best in the league, but he can't beat what we see as like the par level of the NFL. But what are your thoughts on Chiefs Bengals coming up?
Well, my first thought about the Bengals, they're in that class again. It's always preseason. There's always something going on. The wrong people get hurt. Oh, there's a holdout, and it goes on. And
so you think the Jamar Chase holdout was a big distraction for this football team coming into the year? Absolutely,
I think it is. It has to be. He's a superstar. I mean, him and Joe Burrow they're the football team.
Right.
They really are. That team is built around those two when you think about it. So, yeah. And Matt, you've been in NFL locker rooms. When there's stuff like that going on, it's always the talk and by the players. Hey, what do you think it's going to go? They're sitting down there after practice in the locker room. They're talking about it. They're talking about, and they go out to dinner. They're talking about the chat, whatever. It never ends. It's like a damn quarterback controversy. So, yeah, I think and they came out flat once again to start the season. And the sense of urgency when you watch the game, I'm just doing the overall game. When I watched it on TV pretty quick, I just go, wow, it never got to the point where you think the Bengals would get in a home game against an opponent. Hey, they should beat that opponent in the NFL. They should have won 9 out of 10.
Right.
And they had that game where they couldn't overcome who they were.
Yeah, and I mean, how do you feel like they match up now against the Kansas City Chiefs going into week 2? Because again, there's another experienced quarterback, 0-1. All the quarterbacks that we're discussing coming off injury and struggling, and then second week really not getting any favors with their matchup. Another tough matchup again for the Bengals.
Well, they played Cincy. I mean, they played Kansas City pretty tough late last year.
Yeah,
out in Kansas City. I don't know. I look at Kansas City now, they feel like maybe they lost the opening game of the year. I think they're going to be on edge because they're tired of hearing about the Bengals and Joe Burrow, what he does to our football team. And I think Kansas City just watched them early, just one game against the Baltimore Ravens and seeing everything about them. I think they're a better team this year already. And it's not because it's the attitude and their belief in what they're doing and knowing they stole one last year probably. Yeah. And here they are back in rhythm. And this is going to be a really, really tough for assignment for Cincinnati. And I just think physically it's Kansas City's going to overcome it.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes was, what'd you think? Opening game. I thought he was really sharp.
I did
moving
too.
When he needed to, made it through the ball well, clutch, all that stuff. And
and you see the growth and the improvement from Rashee Rice. He looks like he is just, as that cliche that you hate that we say, he took that next step, Phil.
Oh,
all right. But he really he looked stronger. He looked faster. It looked like they really built a few plays too that were specific for him over the middle. They got him open consistently. Xavier Worthy and his impact in the game.
Yeah, it was big.
Wow, it's real. Isaiah Pacheco and the attitude that he brings. Chris Jones is still just, he's an absolute baller. And Nick Bolton, Drew Tranquill, the secondary and the second level of that defense, just they play hard. They play fast. And Spags again, just. He's got his guys going, and it seems like they're really never out of position all that often, especially, against a Ravens team that really puts you in a lot of stressful positions defensively. Hey. They seem to really be on top of what their game plan is all the time.
Kansas City's got borderline superstars. You talk about it. I mean, of course we know, but and the fact that their preseason training camp, the practices on the field. I mean, Christopher was telling us, your brother, my son, he was out there to do an interview for that opening game, and he stood out of practice. And he just was like, once again, going, "Oh my God, they practice forever." Yeah, and it's high intensity. And he goes, the energy, because everybody's having a good time practicing.
Right,
and that's the word. I get tired of this word too, the culture. But Kansas City has a real culture created by the big guy. Andy Reid.
Right.
Let's practice. We practice hard, but we can have a little fun doing it and being that way. Oh yeah, go ahead, Patrick. Practice your stupid behind the back pass. I mean, come on. It's unbelievable. And they can do that because they're taught, but also they win.
Right.
So they can throw a behind the back pass and not have the world explode about how stupid that was or wrong. For them, it's just part of who they are. And what was Andy Reid's comment about it? Hey, sometimes you just got to let them do something they want to do, or what, I don't know what, but it was really pretty cool. So tough undertaking for Cincy going out to Kansas City, big time.
Yeah, it is. And now to the last quarterback for QBs that are coming off injury, and of course, a friend of the show and someone that we support extremely heavily and want to continue to see his growth at the position is Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. Other than the Carolina Panthers, I think really probably the worst performance of the weekend as far as just teams that came out very flat and looked very unprepared. Just Daniel Jones, what did you see? You were at the game celebrating the Giants' 100-year anniversary. You had a great thing before the game. You were ringing the bell at halftime. You were out in the field, so that was a really special moment seeing all those greats for the New York Giants. But what did you see while you were at the game watching it in person?
Well, being on the field before the game and the crowd gets fired. When the crowd started making noise, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever heard this stadium this loud ever.
Yeah.
And it was truly, and I said, oh man, Minnesota's in for it. I swear to God, it's my first thought. Oh, Minnesota, Sam Darnold, it's going to be rough, baby.
Yeah, right.
But, it comes down to many things. I thought Minnesota's game plan on offense and defense was really, really good.
Yeah.
I'll do the defense first, and I'll let you do the offense. I'll do it real quick. Well, first off, Daniel Jones. I thought Daniel Jones played way too fast. In other words, instead of like, oh, there it is, let's go. So I just thought, which, can be common to play too fast, never really settled into the game, because sometimes you need success to settle into the game.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And the other thing is he missed some routine throws.
Right.
which, look, he's got talent. He has NFL starting talent. I have no doubt about all that. But, he missed way too many what I call easy or routine throws in the game that could have been drive starters for him.
Right.
So that didn't happen. But here you go. Brian Flores on defense. He must have thought that the Giants were going to show lots of formations, shifting, motions, all that, which they did do. So he's a blitzing, I would call him a blitzing defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He did not do that. Lots of zone. Gave him a lot of fake blitz looks and whatever, but he was not going to let somebody get free for a big play because he was blitzing and playing man-to-man.
Yeah.
And of course, he had guys over there making big-time plays. I was surprised at the Minnesota's size of their football team lining up against the Giants, and their speed on defense was there.
Yeah.
And of course, Van Ginkel, like we saw in Miami, he's got talent, but man, he just knows how to play.
Yeah.
Great awareness. Really great awareness. So
yeah.
That's just a few things I took from the game, but it was really in all aspects. The Giants never got that rhythm going on either side of the ball where you thought they had a chance to win.
Yeah, I think you brought up a great point, too, that Brian Flores, it seemed like on multiple times, showed aggressive blitz looks to the Giants, and the Giants, being prepared because it's Brian Flores, seemed to make their adjustments, but every time it was a bluff. Every time that they showed that heavy blitz, it would be drop 8, it would be drop 7, and they'd get out of it. And the issue is that when Daniel Jones was checking the plays to make sure that he was protected in the blitz, then he has 3-man routes, and then he's, it's a tough matchup now when you got drop 8, right? And you got 3 guys going out for routes. And this happened, I think, twice in the low red zone area too, where they really kind of out schemed them. And, as we would say, they had the pen last, Brian Flores in that way.
Good line. Yeah.
And that was where I think, they kind of lost as far as just preparing for the game. There didn't seem to be that, oh, well, it's check. Well, all right, here's checkmate on the Giants side of the football. We never really saw that like counter to combat what they were actually seeing on the field. So a little disappointed with just the fact that I feel like the Giants got out coached on both sides of the football. I think Kevin O'Connell really was on it, man. I mean, so yes, Daniel Jones, he missed, a few, but I also think that, Kevin O'Connell did a great job of getting Sam Darnold really easy completions, feeling confident early, a walk-in wide open touchdown down the right sideline, a little wheel route, so really did a great job of, so really did a good job of orchestrating the whole game plan. And then, the other aspect of it, right? Daniel injured, maybe thought the game was fast, his first preseason outing because he's been out for so long. And then, okay, well, I'm going to make sure that I really play fast and engaged my first start out there. But like you said, maybe a little bit too quick, maybe a little too, going through the steps of the progression a little too fast. And that's why he missed some of the throws that he did. But, again, the Giants, I mean, just overall, very subpar performance, not only Daniel, but really just the entire football team with how they looked physically and how they were coached as well.
No part of the team stood out. Okay. So you're right there. Tell me what unit or whatever you go, wow. There were a couple of guys, I'll say this on defense.
Brian
Burns, Yeah. Oh, well, Dexter Lawrence he's a superstar.
Yeah.
But Brian Burns, he didn't get a sack, but I watched the game and I go, well, there's one positive. I know he didn't do, everybody's going to measure his sacks.
Right.
But God, did he hustle and play and ran plays down and made what few plays they had on defense a lot of times because he created the chaos where they couldn't execute what they wanted to do. So, I'm not saying it was a great performance by him, but it kind of stood out to me when I watched him. And the last thing is, did you see giant wide receivers running wide open?
No, not really.
I did in warm-ups. That was it.
Damn, that was messed up, Phil. That's not cool.
No, but I mean, I'm just pointed out. They didn't run away from the defenders when they had chances.
No.
And so, and
no,
of course,
I mean, so far early on, Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, just, haven't been impressed with how they've looked on the field. Right. And these are the guys that, the two the two guys that should be kind of receiver 1 and 2 on in the skill group, and I just haven't really been overly impressed with one, like their physical presence, and also two, just Malik made the really good catch on the in cut over the middle, but other than that, not a ton of separation. Stephon Gilmore, the vet, seemed to handle everything that he saw from him majority of the day, all day. Jalen Hyatt, had one drop over the middle, but just not overly impressed with their physical look as the game was going on.
Well, this will be a big week. They're going against the defense. They should have success.
Yeah, the Washington Commanders is who they're playing this weekend.
Baker Mayfield, I know I'm not comparing. Baker Mayfield picked them apart. I mean, he threw the ball great. And their guys, of course, his receiving core is proven and really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Hall of Famer there, and one of the guys. But when they were open, he hit them. So this is a big game for the Giants. It's a big game for Daniel Jones. Lots of guys, and they just can't play well. They got to win the game and play well to settle everything down. I mean, because if you're not from New York or in this whatever the Northeast, let me tell you, radio stations, I don't even want to go out because people are saying things to me. Right. What do you think? I'm like, hey, it's just one game. Then I just move on.
Well, we thought that the Vikings were in the same class as the New York Giants, right? Or a lot of Giants fans thought, okay, we're in the same class as the Vikings. Well, we found out that might not necessarily be true at this moment in the season, right? Right now, the Vikings are just a step ahead. But the Commanders, I would say, I feel like man for man, and everything that's going on, I feel like we definitely match up better with this football team than we did against the Vikings.
I definitely agree. And there's going to be easy throws in this game for the quarterback and Daniel Jones. So, and look, the big thing too, if the Giants contain Jaden Daniels, they'll win the game.
Yeah.
But containing him is not going to be easy.
And can the Giants run the football too offensively? Because they had 21 carries for 74 yards, just like isn't going to cut it against, really well coached football teams. So being a little bit more balanced offensively, I think will also help Malik Neighbors, Jalen Hyatt, and Daniel Jones in the passing game.
Yeah, the new look Giant offensive line, they all as a group got to be sitting there and go, oh my gosh, we got to play better than we did against Minnesota. So this one, like I said, big game. Anxious to see that on Sunday also, and see if the Giants rebound and play a lot better on both sides of the ball.
Okay, and let's transition to that right now. We're going into the quarterbacks, rookie QBs, just to discuss some of their performances, and then we'll talk about a few football games that we're excited for this weekend that we haven't discussed already. And that first one will be Jaden Daniels, right? We're talking about the Commanders. They played against the Buccaneers. Jaden, seemed like he had some good reps. He was moving well. You could see his athleticism. He threw the ball, I think, decently well, right? Saw the field well. But I think the Bucs just overall just kind of dominated the football game from start to finish in a multitude of ways. But what would you take away from Jaden Daniels' first start in the NFL?
All right, here's what it is. I think I watched him in preseason, whatever. It's going to be a lot of short throws. 5 yards, 6 yards down the field, or behind the line of scrimmage, screen, whatever. A lot of short throws. But if you want to play man-to-man and be aggressive, then he's going to throw it deep down the field. And I saw it in preseason. I saw it in the first game. And if he's not sure he likes it and doesn't see it clearly, or doesn't see it clearly, I should say, he's going to run.
Right.
He's going to run. And if you let him run, look out. Because if he gets in the open field, he's as fast as anybody on that defense. And he's got, slick moves, everything like that. It could be the difference in the game. But to me, I just explained their whole offense. That's what it looks like to me. And that's what I think they're going to be. And we know their head coach, our offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, this kind of fits into what he likes. He's got the quarterback that is perfect for it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they'll rely on against the New York Giants.
Jaden Daniels was 17 to 24, 184, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but he was also the leading ball carrier for the Washington Commanders, 16 carries for 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. And that's really, I think, the most dangerous aspect of this offense right now is if they can consistently get into that red zone area, I think that his element of the running will really bring some easy touchdowns for them. And that's really, I think, where where they kind of out schemed the Bucs. When they got in that low red zone area, it was very difficult for them to defend every man, including Jaden Daniels, in that running game. So that'll be something to look on. But yeah, can they get Brian Robinson going in like a more traditional run game in this game against the New York Giants? Because we don't want to rely on our rookie quarterback to be the leading rusher of your football team each and every week. Because yes, he did a good job of protecting himself when he ran in this game.
Yes.
But we all know too that just the more opportunities that defenses have to tackle quarterbacks down the field, it's just more body punishment, right, for that quarterback, especially a rookie. But I thought he saw the field well, thought he threw it pretty damn well. And I think that he played like smart and careful, like a vet, which I thought was pretty cool. He really dissected coverages very quickly and said, all right, check it down, move on, next play, which was great. And we'll see how they continue to develop that offense against the Giants this week. So now let's go to Caleb Williams, first overall pick. And I mean, yeah, hey, I'll start it off right here. Yeah, it was really ugly. He did not play well at all.
No.
But Big Phil, what did you see when you watched some of the film of this football game against the Tennessee Titans?
Oh, well, many things. Decision making, not great, whatever. Yeah. I think the thing that you want to rely on with him is that he's physically going to make throws, just throwing the ball down the field or anywhere. Right. And he's going to have movement plays where it crushes the defense too. And really neither one of those came about in the game.
Yeah.
So in bad position to throw the ball many times, and I don't care how talented you are, it needs he threw one. I forgot who was open down the left sideline one time, which receiver, but Caleb Williams was facing down the field like this instead of being
his shoulders and hips and feet were parallel to the line of scrimmage. You're saying,
right? Instead of being the opposite,
right?
And so he missed it. He missed a couple long throws. The opportunities weren't great for him in the whole game, but I was surprised. I thought he would play better than he did. Yeah. I know Tennessee's a good defense. They can be a little sure when he walked out in the field, the first time he says, "Oh, wow, this didn't look like this in preseason."
Yeah.
Because Tennessee comes walking out there. They're just a different looking team. Mm-hmm. And of course he knew they were good, but again, kind of played too quick, didn't settle into the reads and just kind of relax and see it, which I understand too as a rookie. But he's got to definitely play better. He'll play better. Experience. He was kind of humbled. You see his interviews after the game.
Yeah.
So, he answered everything the right way. Glad to win. I got to play better. And I thought he was a little down, even though they won the game.
Yeah, but, of course.
That'll just motivate him to be tougher and single-minded and practice during the week. And we should see a difference in him this week when he plays.
And I really like, too, just like, hey, he owned it. He really did. Yeah. And I think it was important for him to do that. And I think that was part of just like, that's a small moment of growth and maturity that you want to see from your young quarterback. We all have huge expectations for him, and he does of himself. And yeah, I think he was rudely introduced to the NFL football game is a totally different football game than what you've been playing in college. And, being on schedule and in rhythm is a real thing in the NFL. Yeah, and if you can do that consistently, then, as you would say, let the game happen and the big plays, they will come naturally without you even forcing the issue or trying to let that happen. And, that's what I think he has to take away from this football game. One, yes, you are not going to scramble around and reverse field 5 times like you did in the Pac-12 and throw the football down the field. Now, you might do that every now and then, every 4 or 5 games, but it's not an every down or every drive type of thing that I think he became a little bit accustomed to. And dudes are bigger, they're stronger, they're faster. And honestly, the biggest thing is just like they're smarter in the NFL. They're better coached. And there was a few times where I think he just got a little overwhelmed. And like you said, playing a little fast. And one thing that, we teach our quarterbacks all the time, right? And we've had moments of this even when we played, you obviously really well, but just, think and process information fast, right? And clearly and decisively while still staying like calm and relaxed, right, within your body. And I think in this game, we saw he was thinking fast, he was processing information, but he was moving fast and he was moving a little too twitchy and, kind of just a little unsettled throughout it. But again, yeah, I think we'll see as the season goes that this Tennessee Titans team is actually a little bit more physically imposing than maybe some people were giving them credit for in the preseason. And then, yeah, exciting weekend for Caleb. Houston Texans and CJ Stroud. So we get to see the the two young QB prospects go up head to head. And I think that'll be a great moment too for Caleb to watch CJ Stroud play and to now say, okay, yeah, now I know what it takes, because CJ does a great job of towing the line of, all right, play in rhythm, and then let's make a play when it's there to be made, and not forcing the issue, because he did another great job of that. Yeah.
He is like Jaden Daniels. They just, I hate all these phrases, but I mean, if we put a
Jaden
heart
Daniels
rate on
is
them,
like him.
Yeah, that's what I should say. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like their heart rate never speeds up during the game.
Right.
They're just playing. And I got to talk about it for a second, but CJ Stroud, damn, was he smooth, and everything about him. He does not panic. Right. And it's great. He played that way in college. I don't think we gave it enough credit because he was at Ohio State and they got all these good players and receivers and everything like that. But even in this game, he slipped and fell a couple times, got up and still completed a pass. He has great feel for the game and for the circumstances that surround him every single week. And he's got a receiving core. Oh my gosh, I think it's a tremendous receiving core he's got there in Houston. So
yeah, and to go off of what you're saying too, and just for young QBs, if you watch CJ Stroud in this football game against the Colts, there was time where the Colts were all over them.
Oh yeah,
there was times where the Colts like really collapsed the pocket. They got after him. They forced CJ to take a few sacks and to take some checkdowns. But I think that really just shows too, just like how mature of a football player he is at such a young age, that didn't get overwhelmed by that. All right, hey, punt the football, control what we can control, and then just next play. And he did a great job of that, because there were moments where I can't lie, the Colts defensive line, it looks pretty damn good. So it's going to be really fun to see how that AFC South turns out this season. But
that game looked like what? It almost looked like the game they played at the end of the year last year.
It was. Well, yeah, it was
almost identical.
It had the same tempo, and really just like,
yeah,
you're right though. It felt like it was a playoff or get into the playoffs type of football game in September, which was really fun.
Yeah, it definitely had it.
All right, so that was all for the rookie QBs, the injury QBs, and now let's just discuss real quickly.
We missed a rookie QB.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry. I made the note. Okay. Bo Nix. Here we go. Bodacious, as they called him at Oregon.
Well, here I'll start it. Let me just say this.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. Sean Payton said, "Go, let's go," and I mean,
yeah.
He didn't call plays like, "I got a rookie out there. You got it. Let's go. Let's just keep pressing it and whatever." And when I watched the game, when I saw the stats, I thought, oh my gosh.
26 of 42, 138, 2 interceptions. He also carried the ball 5 times for 35 yards and a touchdown. But yeah, go ahead.
Right. Well, I was surprised that they just put that much on him. And I got to tell you, there's really not much in the game that bothered me about Bo Nix. The interceptions, but he played hard. He was really like physically and mentally, I just could see it on TV when I watched the TV copy. He was into it. Yeah. Not scared of the defense, being so much more aggressive with some of the throws than I saw in preseason. And the other thing that came out, we always heard the Senior Bowl, and does he have enough arm? Man, he was throwing the hell out of it.
Yeah, he was.
And I think this was a great experience for him too. It was tough. It was hard, but he just kept competing, and he did not play too fast or miss reads and things like that, Matt. That's just what I saw and what I wrote down. I know the numbers weren't great, but I was still impressed when the game was over how he played it against a better team and, of course, against a crowd that is crazy.
Yeah.
So Bo Nix, man, I'm giving him a plus in the game how he played as a rookie QB.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think just the way that he played that football game, it was, yeah, he went all out, man. he said, F it, let's cut it loose. Let's
Yeah.
learn how to play the NFL game. And I would say the only one where he made like an errant play, where let me see, it was at the end of the first quarter, early in the second quarter, where he threw one to the left sideline really late. That was really the only time.
The interception.
The first interception. He tried to like just throw it super late in the read and the play. He slid, he moved, and then tried to throw it. And, that was really the only one where I was like, all right, hey, that's a rookie blunder right there. Like, lanes are going to collapse really quick in the NFL. And they did. They got that interception on that one. But the interception late, he's trying to make a play. He's trying to get the team back into the game. And that being said, too, I mean, 26-20, had some good throws, had some good moments, showed some great athleticism, showed the ability to use his legs like Jaden Daniels, too.
Yes.
And this is not what the Commanders are doing with Jaden Daniels, with making the game simple with quick, easy throws, one-on-ones with a few QB runs. No, like Bo Nix is already into the advanced quantum mechanics of being a quarterback with Sean Payton, because they really did. They had it all going.
They did.
So, even though I'm sure statistically everyone's thinking, oh, very, unassuming and unimpressive, first start. But I agree with you. I liked a lot of the things that I saw from Bo Nix, and definitely feel confident in Peyton and them to get it right sooner rather than later.
Yes, me too. That was, hey, man, that was a lot of throws.
Yeah.
And, that's only going to help him too.
Yep.
So we'll see how it goes for them. But, I look at the Denver Broncos, they're trying to reshape their team. Russell Wilson gone. They still are under the salary, all that stuff. And whatever they do this year, they're looking for positive results, of course.
Yeah.
But the quarterback, if he comes along like I kind of think he will, and I think you think the same thing, that they'll be on a good path late in the year, and, of course, getting this thing started even for the future.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And now let's just talk about some games to look forward to ahead. We already did a few.
Okay.
But, one that we wrote down here, of course, is the Thursday night game, which will be happening tonight. And that's Bills-Dolphins.
Right.
And just what are some of your thoughts for Bills-Dolphins tonight? What should we expect to see from both teams?
Oh, man. Wow. Watch the Bills play the Arizona Cardinals. A lot of stuff there. Josh Allen, really, he didn't play well. He played extremely well.
Yeah.
I did like the play calling, the pace of the game, what they were doing, running the football. He ran it, when he had to.
Yeah.
They put a lot of pressure on the defense. And, I kind of understand why the receiving core, they're not going to focus on maybe the tight ends. They focus on them, Dawson Knox and Kincaid. But overall, the receivers, it's just get the ball. When you play Buffalo, I know I'm getting everywhere here, you worry about the quarterback running, so it kind of limits what you can do on defense sometimes.
Right.
And I noticed this with Arizona. When they played zones and all that, Josh Allen was picking them apart. Yeah. And then, of course, he made some plays, moving and throws that really only he can make. But, I think overall, when I watched Buffalo, I just went, this is going to be a tough. If you think they're going to go 12-5 or something like, I don't see it, Matt. I got to watch a little here. I think it's a tough matchup against the Miami Dolphins tonight for them.
And what gives you that thought, though, as you see one game, like where you're just like, what's missing from this football team, you think?
Well, I think the defense, that worries me a little bit.
Okay.
So many new players in the secondary, linebacker, whatever, so the pass rush is okay. They got some sacks in the game, but I never looked at it like, wow, they're really pressing the pocket.
Right.
Maybe they were worried about Kyler Murray. Well, they should have worried more because they seemed to get out whenever he wanted to against the defense.
Okay.
And, just thinking about the game, looking at Miami, tons of throws behind the line of scrimmage, but they just keep giving the football to their playmakers, and sooner or later they're going to break it. Now, Jacksonville did a good job of tackling on the outside and stopping a lot of the screens and the swing passes and all that stuff. But, man, Miami they just keep coming.
Right.
Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill, oh, my gosh. It's just they caught passes deep down the field that very few, if any other teams in the league try to run them.
Right.
I mean, my God, Tyreek Hill ran 500 yards on the one play to get the touchdown. Everything. So it's I think it's a tough matchup. I'm not completely sold about Buffalo, what they can be. I want to see this game tonight and see if they can really hang in there with Miami down there in Miami, because the Dolphins, if they don't have a thorn in their side because of the Buffalo Bills, they should.
Right.
Because think about that game last year.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that thing turned around about 15 times, and it kind of ruined the Miami Dolphins season in a way, because they had to go right to Kansas City in a playoff game.
Yeah, and this is one of those matchups where it really doesn't even matter who has a stronger roster or not. It's a division game. It's always the same way between, I feel like, the Bills and the Dolphins for the most part, where it's just like we don't know. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Like it really is a toss up, I feel like. But for the Bills, yeah, Josh Allen's still that dude. I don't know what the hell anyone was talking about ranking him as one of the most overrated players in the NFL from this anonymous players rankings from this summer, because 18 to 23 for 232. And not only that, but just 2 touchdowns through the air, 2 touchdowns on the ground. James Cook played well. We got a little bit of a glimpse of what Keon Coleman could be for them. Khalil Shakir plays extremely tough and physical for them, especially over the football, and he adds a little bit of that burst and speed. And even Cook, we didn't see it a ton in this first one, but we'll probably see more of his influence in the passing game as the season goes. So that'll be a big aspect for it. And yeah, I guess the big question mark again, too, for the Bills is just, you lose Matt Milano already. Bernard played extremely well, but just, do they have enough, as Greg Nedjma mentioned to us this offseason, rush the passer and score points. Right. I think with Josh Allen, they're going to score points. They're going to be able to score points. With rushing the passer, it's going to be a little bit of, can they scheme it up enough to alleviate those one-on-one situations, to create confusion, to create, just havoc, right, for opposing teams. So that'll really be, I feel like, their recipe for success consistently, because I think man for man, Rousseau, like he does a great job, but just like, can he win consistently as that premier pass rusher for them? So those will be the question marks that we'll see. For the Dolphins side,
let me throw this on real quick.
Go.
Buffalo. The one thing that jumped out at me, I thought Buffalo's offensive line was really good in the game.
Yeah.
In the run game, pass protection, Josh Allen able to move around and still wait for people to come open.
Right.
That was really good.
Even some of his scrambles were just him playing ball. It wasn't because he was forced to move a ton.
Yeah, you're right. Right.
Yeah.
And James Cook.
Yeah.
Did he look faster than last year? I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, he definitely looked fresh as hell.
Damn, can he run? And the other one, I'm going to mention him too, is Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
God, he looks super fast too. I'm like, what? I still trying to understand why that moved around what there in Green Bay, but Aaron Jones for Minnesota, he was another, just had to get it in there.
Right.
He looked like he was super fresh also, and really fast, and a weapon you got to worry about if you play against him.
Yeah, definitely. And then for the Dolphins, just, you already alluded to it. So far through week 1, defense looked pretty good. I mean, that being said, they still, I guess the strip fumble really was basically the biggest difference of the game with Travis Etienne getting stripped at the line of at the goal line, excuse me. But, we'll see again how that plays out. So now let's go to, what do we want to talk about? We've really hit all the games we want to discuss. Let's go Colts Packers.
Yeah, that's who I was looking at. Yep.
Yeah. Interesting game here, because looks like we're going to get Malik. Well, not looks like. We have Malik Willis as the starter, traded to the Packers only a few weeks ago. So really amazing that he's going to get the start and really just being in the offense for less than maybe 2 weeks. So that's exciting. And then,
let's see. Let me ask you a question about that.
Yeah, go.
Do you think the system wording is maybe the same as it is in Green Bay? Because Callahan's not off that tree of Kyle Shanahan and all the guys in the league that are running that offense.
Yeah, I don't know if
they are or not, but I don't think they are. Just guessing.
They're not like hugely separated too from Thomas and what they do. So I'm curious to see if there is a huge discrepancy, but.
Let me ask you.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. Well, let me ask you. Malik Willis.
Yeah.
You saw him in the preseason. We said some nice things about him.
Right.
How do you think I must just write this game. How's he going to play against Indianapolis this week. What's your thought about him?
Man, well, I believe in Matt LaFleur to scheme up plays. And I really
Right.
think that Matt really schemed up some good plays too for Jordan Love against the Philadelphia Eagles. And I just think Jordan Love, we both agree, just didn't throw the football very well in that football
Not at
game.
all. No.
Relied too much on the
Oh.
finesse fadeaways and all those kind of things too, instead of just standing in there and ripping a few of them in there.
Hey, listen, before you keep going though,
Yeah.
look, when he comes back, once he gets healthy, let's set up and actually, throw the damn ball. Let's set up and rip one, or instead of it's the fadeaway jumper when there's nobody guarding me.
Right.
I don't. Please stop it. I understand it's really cool, and I know it kind of protects him sometimes.
Right.
But when nobody's around you, brace it and let it go. But
Right.
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I agree. I totally agree with you. Like,
Yeah.
just every now and then, let's go. Stand in there and throw it. But Reed, Dobbs, Kraft, like, I think just Josh Jacobs in the run game, I think they'll be able to keep the offense balanced enough and patient. I think this is kind of one of those games where can you limit the explosive plays by Anthony Richardson on the defensive side of the football, which I think they can, right? But at the same time, just be patient. Be patient in the run game. I don't see this as like a 35 attempt type of day for Malik Willis.
No.
I think try to be balanced, right? Like a, 25-25 type of recipe for success, right, for this game. And then also just utilize Malik Willis's athleticism, get him out of the pocket a few times, have a few schemed up concepts where you're moving him away from the line of scrimmage, create space for himself, and allow him to throw a few footballs, down the field with all that space off of those play action passes and those different looks. And I think Matt LaFleur has all those plays in his arsenal. So that'll really, I think, be the key to success for the Packers is patience in the run game with Josh Jacobs, moving Malik Willis, and keeping the passing game, other than those movement plays, pretty simple so he can play fast and make good decisions.
Here's what I think. You're right on it. Screens, quick little throws that are no big deal.
Right.
Maybe a quarterback run or two, but they'll be careful running him too much because they don't want to lose him too.
Right.
But I think it's going to be a very short passing game, and then let him get back there, like you said, get some space and let him throw it.
Right.
Because the one thing Malik Willis is going to do, he's going to drive it down the field.
Yeah.
And he showed us that he has improved so much in that category down in Tennessee in preseason. I think he fits this offense great, Matt.
Right.
Because you said it. Matt LaFleur gets people down the field deep running. And I think he'll stand in there and he'll brace it and he's going to let it go. I think he's going to – I'm really looking forward to seeing him play this game with Green Bay, with that offense, and with that play caller. Okay, I think.
Well, we know you feel confident about it when you start banging the table, man.
Oh, you can hear that?
Yeah.
Well, I really have faith. I think so much in the coach that he's going to fit this right to the quarterback,
right?
And I think they have that already in their system. So we'll see. I mean, I just look. This is a great chance for Malik Willis,
right,
for a few weeks to really show the league once again why some people thought he should have been a much higher draft pick.
Yeah.
That he can just get some people going, man, that guy could be an NFL starter.
Now, I mean, what is your thoughts, though? Because one thing that I noticed for the Green Bay Packers, there were at times where, they really just got, like, physically overpowered occasionally against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Philadelphia Eagles, we expect them, and we know them to be one of the better rosters and defensive lines talent-wise in the league.
Yeah.
But Indianapolis, DeForest Buckner, questionable with the back, didn't practice yesterday. So we'll see if he practices today or tomorrow. But just, they showed too that they also can get after the passer pretty consistently. And Latu, the rookie from UCLA, he looks like he's going to be a pretty damn good player here too for the Colts. So, do you have faith that the Packers can protect Malik Willis really well against this Indianapolis Colts defense?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because I think when they try to throw it down the field, it's not going to be five guys, going out in the pass pattern.
Right.
It's going to be three, maybe four, but I think they'll be very conscious of making sure the quarterback has protection. And if you have to keep an extra player or two in there, you do it.
Right.
And that really, when you think about it, that really doesn't change the passing game that much. You just got to be a little more careful. Maybe if you don't send somebody out from one side, and if they're running towards it, there's going to be free defenders. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think they can handle it. This is a game where Green Bay has to find a way to win it or whatever.
Right.
They're going against a young quarterback too, the Green Bay defense, and Anthony Richardson, who is just a phenomenal physical talent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know what else to say, but yeah, I think they can handle this with Malik Willis, and we got to revisit this next week when we talk about this game.
Yeah, great.
We'll do it Monday or Tuesday just to see if some of the thoughts that we had about it, if they're going to come true or not.
Yeah, for sure. And you're right, Anthony Richardson. Wow, some really unbelievable moments in that football game. The deep ball to Alex Pierce, 60 yards on a fly after stumbling. I mean, just an absolute rocket right down the football field. And I think overall, you could see that he's seeing the field better. He's a little bit more confident as a pure drop back passer, but then still has that just, he checks the box of being super special, right? Athletically, physically. So that'll be the big question, right, for Shane Steichen, is just continuing that development in his pure drop back passing game, and then still taking advantage of just all the other aspects that he does so well, the scrambling and stuff like that. He made a few runs and made a defender miss here or there. It was like, whoa, like that. It looked like he was a running back. It looked Lamar Jackson-esque, but just with way more muscles with the way that he did it. And it was fun to watch.
50 more pounds of pressure coming at you.
Yeah, it's no doubt.
I thought the one pass, I thought he threw it. I measured it. I thought it was very close to 70 yards.
This was the incompletion you saw to Adonai Mitchell from Texas.
Was that down the middle of the field?
Yeah, it was incomplete, right?
Yeah, is that the play where he slipped and fell and got up and threw it?
No, that was the touchdown to Alex Pierce.
I watched it so fast.
Thanks for listening. I just said it before, but yeah.
I know you did, but I wanted to make sure if you were right. Sometimes you're wrong too, man. I know it's hard to.
Oh, absolutely. I'm wrong all the time. Yeah.
So am I. But yeah, it was a fun game to watch. The two quarterbacks and Anthony Richardson. He's must-see TV because hell, it might be everything. We might have a car wreck, but then we might win the race 3 or 4 times in that. So it really is. We saw this last year in his limited season.
Yeah.
And unfortunately his injury came because he was running to the right and he slowed down and somebody crushed him from behind.
Right.
Well, he won't slow down this year. But yeah, they do a really good job on offense, the Colts do, of everything. The quarterback runs, what to do with him, where to throw it. And, they're not messing around throwing a bunch of little 2-yard outcuts. They're trying to go down and make dynamic plays. And, those big change the game plays.
Well, similar to what you said too about, Bo Nix, Sean Payton, what they do offensively and just like letting it go. I think Shane Steichen really, it wasn't like, hey, let's just get him in rhythm. And no, he let it go, so he is in the process of getting his quarterback ready and prepared to be the guy. And it's exciting too, because, they got a talented little receiving core too that, Josh Downs, we'll see. He's questionable with an ankle. He did participate in practice yesterday, but Alex Pierce from Cincinnati, he's a good-looking football player. Adonai Mitchell, Michael Pittman. So they got some really good pieces, right? And of course, don't let me forget, but just, Jonathan Taylor and the way that he runs the football. But overall, they have a lot of great pieces for Anthony Richardson to feel, confident with who he's playing with and throwing to and making these big plays. And I think that'll show some great balance as the season goes on.
You know what, Matt? Everybody the AFC South and the AFC South.
Yeah.
Come on. It's I think it's exciting as hell.
It is.
Indy, Houston, Jacksonville, who really got unlucky. I'm just going to say that they should have beat the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, they pretty much outplayed them. It seemed like the entire game, and really just the last quarter, it just fell apart on them. But
it fell apart on them. So and Tennessee, I don't think they'll win the division, but they're going to be a pain in the ass. That's for sure.
Yeah, agree. All right, well, this is great, big guy. We got through a lot, man. That was a lot of football. We're gonna have to break this up into 2 episodes, but that's all we got today from Sims Complete. Follow us, subscribe, YouTube, Believe, the Believe YouTube page, the Sims Complete YouTube page. Follow, subscribe, comment. Follow Phil Simms on Twitter and Instagram at Phil Simms QB11. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Sims Complete. And we'll be back next week. Big Phil saying Monday. So we'll be back Monday with more breakdowns of NFL Week 2.
No, let me rephrase that.
Go ahead.
It'll be sometime later than Monday because I have to travel on Monday.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I'm sitting there going,
Well, maybe
Monday will be
Tuesday.
great. Yes, we'll get it done as soon as possible because some of these games I can't wait to talk about next week. So we'll see. All right, Matt. Good job.
All right, Phil. Always a pleasure. You're the man.
All right, toodles.
See ya.